Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about one of the best hot hatches Ford had ever made, a Ford Focus ST. So the ST ran from 2013 to 2018. It's fast, it's fun, it's angry, and it'll probably roast your right front tire before you can say torque steer. But before you buy one, there's a few things you should know. So let's get into it. So all the Focus STs came with a 2.0 EcoBoost engine and a 6-speed manual transmission. No CVT nightmares in these things. These cars came out of the factory with 252 horsepower and 270 foot-pounds of torque. I know that doesn't sound like much, but with a stratified tune, an intercooler, and a downpipe, you get close to that magical 300 number, and all of a sudden you've got yourself a little street nightmare. Let's start with the good. First off, the driving feel. The Focus ST handles ridiculously well for what it is. The steering's tight, the chassis is responsive, and you can actually feel what the front tires are doing. It's the type of car that makes back roads addictive. And then there's the aftermarket. You can mod these cars just about however you want. You can do an autocross build, a daily driver, a show car, a track build, or all of the above. The opportunities are literally endless. When you're shopping for parts, you've got brands like Cobb, Mountain Tune, TB Performance. The options are endless. You can literally go whatever direction you want with one of these cars. And then let's talk about bang for the buck. You can find one of these cars for less than 10 grand. Cheap, low mileage, and well optioned at that. This car right here, we picked up for $2,700, and all it needed was a little bit of work. This car was right at 10 grand. My silver car in the background was right at 11. They're all optioned a little bit differently, but every single one of these has been a good example of what you can get for less than 10K with a Focus ST. Now let's talk about a couple of the things that Ford didn't do exactly right. First and foremost, LSPI, low speed pre-ignition. That is ultimately what plagues these cars. You have to drive them like you have a brain once you tune them, unfortunately, or else they will literally explode. All you have to do is a quick Google search of Focus ST LSPI, and you'll get to see all the videos of the pretty fireworks and loud explosions. Next, let's talk about the engine mounts. Early from the factory, they start to feel like jello, and the car just feels sloppy. It really takes away from the driving experience, so it's one of the first mods that any Focus ST owner should do is slap a rear motor mount on this thing at the very minimum, so that way it takes that jello feel out of the car. Next, carbon buildup and misfires. These cars are direct injection, which means that carbon literally builds up on your intake valves, and a walnut blast will go a long way. If your car's close to 100,000 miles, check with your local mechanic and see how much it costs to get a walnut blast. Not only is it going to help the car run better, it's going to idle smoother, you're going to get better fuel mileage and more power. And last but not least, let's talk about the interior rattle simulator 3000. These cars are known for their fair share of plastic rattles. And the hatch is known on that black car. Interior door handles, the dash. It's an economy hatchback. It's going to rattle after it's a few years old, or it's going to rattle after you take it apart once or twice. It's the nature of the beast. Next, let's talk about the driving experience. The Focus ST has one of the best driving personalities out there. The torque hits early, the boost noises are addictive, and the car just begs you to push it. But at the same time, this is a car that will humble you very fast. The torque steer, it's real. First and second gear, hold on. Stock clutch can handle mild power, but if you're planning on putting any kind of big turbo on this thing, plan for an upgrade. And although it's not all-wheel drive like a Focus RS, at the end of the day, it's lighter, it's cheaper, and probably more fun to drive for the average individual. Now let's talk about some of the fun stuff, mods. If you're gonna get into one of these Focus STs, there's a few mods that everybody's gonna tell you to do right off. Number one, get a Cobb access port. Get a good tune from either Stratified or Edge Auto Sports. Those are the two places I've had the best luck from. There are other places that people say they live by, and I have one of those tunes on one of these cars. I'm not going to put anybody on blast, but it runs like absolute crap. So Stratified or Edge Auto Sports for the tune. Next, you have to grab an intercooler. The factory one heat soaks so fast. With heat soak goes your power. Grab you a Cobb intercooler, a Mountain intercooler, or a Depot intercooler. Maybe you want to splurge and get a CVF. All of those are good options, but make sure you grab an intercooler ASAP. Next, you're going to need a downpipe. Catless is what I recommend. You're going to get the most flow and the most sound out of that. If you have to deal with the fun ruining agency, they do make high flow catted downpipes, and that'll do the job, I guess. Now let's talk a little bit about cosmetic stuff. One of the first things just about any car lover does is puts a set of wheels in the car. These are Rotogrids. Unfortunately, they're discontinued and we can't find them like this anymore. The Focus platform is dying. Luckily for us, there's still manufacturers that make the wheels, and there's still vendors that are pushing to keep the wheels on the market, like Martini Works or Fitment Industries. You can find a good set of wheels for one of these cars for very cheap. Grab yourself a good set of tires. Nobody likes a nice set of wheels on a cheap set of tires. Tires are going to change the performance of this car completely. And if you want it to look mean, wrap it, wing it, aero it. These Focuses look killer with the right kit on them. And now we can talk about the elephant in the room, headlights. There's not a good option on the market for any of these cars on headlights. These are some cheap eBay ones that are only 8 months old, and as you can see, I need to replace them. You could stay with the factory headlights. They yellow very quickly. You'd have to sand them down and polish them, and you could put some PPF over top of them and keep the factory headlights. But all in all, you're going to fight with headlights. That's just, yeah. Now let's talk about a couple things you need to check for before you buy one of these cars. First and foremost, just about like any car you buy, check the oil, check for blow-by, and check for excessive oil in the intake. Those are all signs of a bad PCV system or bad piston rings. One of those is okay to deal with, one of those is not. Approach it carefully. Make sure you go out and drive the car. Check for any kind of clutch wear, irregular clutch engagement, or grinding in the transmission, specifically in third and fourth gear. Those are the gears that get beat on the most in these cars. This car is no stranger to transmission problems. And again, just like any other car you buy, check for coolant leaks. These are known around the coolant reservoir and down here at the thermostat T. Check for coolant leaks very thoroughly on these cars. If they're leaking externally, they're easy to fix. If they're leaking internally, not so much. Check for misfires and rough idles. Could be plugs, could be coil packs, or it could be purge valves, which these cars are known for. Now, like I said, if they're leaking coolant internally, it's a big problem. These cars are known for cracked heads, and 2 of these 3 cars have already had a head replaced on them. Like I said earlier in the video, we got this car for $2,700 because it had a cracked head. It's not a huge job, but it is intimidating taking the engine halfway apart if you don't know what you're doing. So be sure you check these things out thoroughly. And last but not least, make sure the car is not tuned to the moon on 87 octane. You'd be surprised. It is more common than you think. The Focus ST is the definition of fun on a budget. They're not perfect. They'll test your patience. But when they work right, there's not another car that can scratch an itch like a Focus ST. If you want something you can daily drive, something that'll carve up the back roads, and something that'll still turn heads at meets, this is it. Just maybe budget for a new pair of front tires every couple of months. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found this helpful, make sure you like the video, subscribe. Let me know what Focus ST content you want to see next. Maybe mods I regret or something like that. And until next time, keep it boosted, keep it built. I'll catch you on the next one.